Hi, good afternoon, Fernando. Welcome. How are you today?
Hello, Rafael. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for accepting the invitation to participate in this project. We have
My
here
pleasure.
Fernando Irulegue from Uruguay, and we welcome him. We want to remind all the viewers who are watching this, perhaps for the first time, that the idea of these interviews that we're doing with international guests is to create a space where we invite these international experts and specialists in business and in different markets around the world to talk a little bit about the cultural and communication aspects of doing business in their countries. So the idea is to create this space, and we have 7 questions which we are asking every international interviewee, and that's how we're going to be working with the project. Is everything clear, Fernando? Any initial questions you
Yes,
have?
sure. Thank you. Yes. I'm ready.
Perfect. No, we will start then with the 7 questions, Fernando. Thank you again for your time. Fernando, tell us, to begin with, tell us a little bit more about you and what kind of work that you do in Uruguay, please.
Okay. Well, I have a couple of companies. I used to advise foreigners for doing business in Uruguay. We through our company FinTrade, we not only advise them but also help them to develop the business without the need of having local presence, or at least to have top executives or decision makers here in Uruguay. Sometimes it is to develop the Uruguayan market, but most of times is to make a business in the region. So we represent them and we help them, as the name of our company says, for the financial and the trading business. So I also personally teach at the university in foreign trade and supply chain. So that's basically I have a background on financial institutions here in Uruguay, and also on the commercial side in some industrial companies. But for a long time, I was advising foreigners.
That's great. No, perfect. Great. To have an overview of your experience, you definitely have an understanding of this intercultural connection between international clients that want to come to Uruguay, and you work with different several countries. So that's great. That's great that you have this background, and your insights will be very valuable for our viewers. Thank you, Fernando. The second question, what are some of the things you recommend people to do or say when they first meet or speak with a person with whom they might think about initiating a new project or business opportunity together in Uruguay, and also perhaps what they should not say or do, perhaps?
Okay. Well, usually here in Uruguay, the appointments start on time. We are not so strict, but probably stricter than other countries in the region. Usually, you should have an icebreaker to start the conversation. Uh, Probably speaking about, I don't know, football or any other sport. Um, we in Uruguay we do like foreigners, and we expect them to be interested in our country. Uruguay is a small country, and I guess that as a characteristic of every small country, that he like to be recognized by foreigners. So what you do not have to do is to be confused or not knowing where are you. I mean, I'm in Paraguay or in Uruguay. You're part of Argentina, so that kind of things is not recommended. So try to have a little of reading about the country, maybe a comment on that shows that you already know something about the country is very, or at least to show interest in knowing what is the economy of Uruguay about, or maybe what is the political system. We are very proud of our organization, which outstands in the region, and we would like to be recognized by that.
No, fantastic. Great points. I think two things that stand out, to not confuse Uruguay with other countries, or that it's the same as Argentina, for example. I hear that a lot too. So it's very important that you reinforce that. And also interesting how you say that things usually start on time, and a lot of experiences in many Latin American countries that, meetings do take, they don't start on time, they take forever. So it's a good cultural difference to highlight in Uruguay. So that's really helpful. Thank you, Fernando. The third question, we also recognize that it's important to have a deeper cultural understanding of a local place when doing business there. So what specific cultural aspects might be considered when doing business in Uruguay?
Okay, good. I think that maybe as a consequence of a small country or a little population, we are 3.5 million people in our country, which is well, it's maybe a neighborhood of Sao Paulo. So everybody knows everybody, or at least in the commercial or the business circles. It's very small. So the good thing is that everybody behaves very honestly. So I would say that for a foreigner, it would be good to use personal references. So for the people who is receiving the visit or the interview, to try to have some personal references or some in that aspect. I think that we value the personal connections. It's not like a country that you need to know the people from government or the family that is ruling the country. It's not like that. But I mean, in the business circles, yes, it is good to be connected or to have some references. We I think that it is good for a foreigner to be guided for a local, in that sense. I mean, as a small market, usually everybody does everything. So for example, you will have a consultant that will make an effort to offer you a full package of services, and that is good. But you have to be careful in knowing, okay, he's very good at accounting and he knows about taxes, but maybe this legal thing is not prepared to give me a good advisory. So that is something that to take into account. Also, Uruguayans like to help a lot in everything. Probably they will suggest a place to live. I don't know, thinking somebody that is coming, migrating to Uruguay, no? They will try to arrange all your life at the very start of the relationship. So this is something to have in mind. Also, another characteristic of Uruguay is that is not, I mean, the corruption level is low and everybody is very proud of it here in the country. So it's not good to try to propose something not immoral or not or illegal. So what else? Another thing is that we have a society very horizontal. So it is not well regarded if you treat with disrespect to lower employees, or so it is good to um, how to say, to be aware that somebody is bringing your coffee, and to make I don't know how to say, but
Recognize them.
yeah, to be kind with them. I don't know, to have empathy with all the workers.
Great insights, Fernando. I think one of the things that you pointed out that stood out to me is, since the country is a smaller size, population of 3.5 million, it is important these personal references. So it is harder to do things the wrong way. Let's say people are watching, people will know what you're doing. So it's important to have these connections, and it will open more doors since it's a smaller country and the connections are closer. So that's important to take note if somebody's interested in learning more about business in Uruguay. So thank you.
You're welcome.
The fourth question, it's a question always about communication, right? If someone does not speak Spanish, what do you suggest a foreigner do to be able to communicate more successfully with locals in Uruguay and to be able to do business there if they do not speak Spanish at all?
Good. Most businessmen speak English or have a person who does. So I would say that English is anybody who speaks English could do business here in Uruguay. Of course, our language is Spanish, and everybody thinks that speaks Portuguese. I don't know why, but you will find that in Uruguay, anybody says that he understands and speaks Portuguese. He understands. Probably do not speak very well, but Portuguese is a language that is very close, or at least that is the perception. I compare with Argentina, for example, and it's very interesting how they block their mind when they listen Portuguese, and for us it's like so familiar, and everybody, as I said, everybody thinks that he speaks Portuguese very well. And also there are some people also that speak French or Italian or German, but English is very rooted in here.
No, absolutely, Fernando. And yeah, the other languages, Uruguay is a country of mostly European immigrants. But I will reinforce Fernando's point. I was very impressed. The level of English is very good in Uruguay, very very good. I've been to Uruguay, and from everybody, from I've seen Uber drivers, from waiters, from businessmen, of course. A lot of people speak English and at a very good level. So I would tell the business people looking to do business in Uruguay that they will feel more comfortable compared to other Latin American countries. The English is at a very high level in Uruguay. I was very impressed. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
the exception.
no, I was really impressed. I was really, really impressed. And Portuguese is important because of the closeness to
Yes,
being a neighbor to Brazil and business opportunities. So
right.
yeah, I did meet a lot of Uruguayans who do speak Portuguese very well as well. So
Yes, yes.
perfect. Thank you, Fernando. The fifth question has to do a little bit more with how you get the ideas out to the consumer market or the companies in Uruguay. The question is how to get better results in visibility and sales. What are your recommendations on the most effective ways to do marketing of products or service in Uruguay? How do you reach? How do you contact the potential buyers and partnerships with companies, for example?
Good, good. Well, of course that it will depend on the product, on the
Sure.
market segment, but as a general characteristic of Uruguay, as I said, it's a small country with a very good penetration of the internet, pro- practically in every part of the country you have internet, or you have the possibility of get a signal. And also most people use, of course, the I don't know, a laptop or a cell phone. So the social media is a good way to reach the population. Also, as I said, the word of mouth is important. So probably you should go through influencers, or to allow the people to have a first experience to start to speak about, so the word of mouth expands in the society. Of course, TV is still for massive propaganda, or massive commercial advising. Basically, it would be that.
But in social media, Fernando, specifically, for example, what is more common there? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. What kind of channel?
Yes, good question. That depends on the segment of the society, but I would say that here the population is a little older, so probably Facebook is more used. Instagram for middle age or younger. Of course, TikTok. Yeah, but probably you should go through those massive social media, and people is not used to getting different from other countries to go to the website of the company, but to use, I don't know, maybe a platform like Mercado Libre or something like that to buy.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said in the beginning, it also depends a lot on the product and the segment that you're trying to hit.
Sure.
But no, very interesting. Thank you, Fernando. Going to the sixth question. This question has a lot to do with generating empathy with the locals, right? So if a business partner in Uruguay wants to get to know you better, invites you to a coffee or tea place, a restaurant, a bar, or want to do a virtual happy hour via Zoom, what kind of topics do people in Uruguay like to talk about that's not related to business, for example? So it's just to get to know each other and generate empathy.
Okay. Well, I spoke a little bit about that, but football or soccer is a subject that always is present. But do not think that everybody is interested in football or other sports. Okay. So it is good for the Uruguayan culture to speak about the family, to ask, okay, do you have children or brothers or sisters or whatever? It is okay. It is accepted. It shows interest in the person, not only in business. So family topics are good. Also in Uruguay, we are very open to, or very aware of, the international politics, probably because we are effective for that, because we sell most of our production. So we depend on the markets, foreign markets. So topics about international politics or events or that type of things would be appreciated. So it would be an interesting conversation. We'll go through that. And also probably, how did you started your business, or how did you get your job? I don't know. Probably showing interest in also in the economic part. Maybe not to ask how much are you earning at the very beginning, but yes, people usually is proud of what they built or the career they built. So I think that I will start with some of those topics.
No, perfect. My own experience, I talk about football.
Yeah.
A lot of Uruguayan players play in Brazil. So in Brazil, we know
right.
of the great players that Uruguay have, and definitely, right. I talk a lot of entrepreneurs, and like you said, they like to talk about present what they've built as a company. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Going to the last question. What one word should everyone learn to say in Spanish, and especially in Uruguay? What's the one word you recommend people to know?
Okay, you know that in I guess in any culture everybody knows to say thank you, or that's the first thing
Sure.
you start, and also it will work in Uruguay to say
Okay.
gracias to the people who is bringing the coffee, or to at the end of the meeting, gracias for your time, whatever. But if you want something very, very Uruguayan, a little informal, is vamos arriba. I don't know if you're aware of that expression. It's not one
No,
word, but you can put all together. Vamos arriba.
no,
It
I did
is
not know.
no, really. It's Uruguayan. It's not the region. It's Uruguayan. It's vamos arriba, but you say vamos arriba, vamos arriba. It's an expression that is like, come on, get up, or is to encourage somebody. Okay, vamos arriba. But you also said, for example, somebody did something wrong, and you say, it's okay, vamos arriba. You understand? Like,
Yes, very
it's
clear.
okay, I accept it. But it is usually used also for when you're excited about something, some new business. Okay, vamos arriba. Vamos arriba is like, let's go up.
Perfect.
You get it?
Yeah, I think it's great. If you're a foreigner going to Uruguay, you'll blend
Yeah.
in very quickly if you say vamos arriba.
Yes. I would say that even if it is an informal expression, it
Sure.
doesn't have anything wrong, and you would. I mean, it would be very appreciated by an Uruguayan, because he knows that you know something very, very local.
Local.
And it's positive. The expression is always positive.
Well, and it's a quick way to generate the empathy with the locals. So
Exactly.
great. No, I'm gonna write it down next time I go to Uruguay. That's one of the first things I'll say. Talk
Good.
about football and saying that.
Yeah, vamos arriba.
Perfect. No, excellent, Fernando. I think it was a lot of learning. I've been to Uruguay, but I learned a lot today. So a lot that I'm gonna be able to implement when I go down to Uruguay again. So thank you. Thanks
Great.
for the
You're
insights.
welcome.
No, thank you again. I want to thank you, Fernando, for being part of this project. I hope everyone watching as well can learn, and also take advantage of Fernando's wealth of experience, contacts, and contact him if you are interested in doing business in Uruguay, or learning a little bit more about international trade and how Uruguay is connected, right, to this whole international supply chain. We're leaving Fernando's contact in the summary that we're writing the newsletter. So thank you again for your insights, your experience, recommendations. I hope this benefits you and all the work you do. I encourage everyone to contact Fernando as well as a follow-up. So thank you so much. Muchas gracias y vamos arriba.
Vamos arriba.
Obrigado. Gracias.
Thank you, Rafael.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao.